My name is Trey Powell, and I'm a student at the University of Houston. I come to y'all today just to tell you how Christ has truly changed my life. I was that kid who grew up who didn't have much. My mother was a single mother. She struggled to raise me and my younger siblings. We saw many hard times where there was verbal abuse towards our mother, mental abuse towards our mother, uh, physical abuse towards our mother. I remember when we was living in St. Louis, I saw a man literally drag my mother on the sidewalk, almost beat her half to death.
Verbally abused, cussed out. Um, we had lights off when we were younger. Water off.
That was hard for me. That was hard for me to witness. It affected me mentally. It affected me emotionally. And sometimes it still affects me today. Um, we ended up moving to Dallas because of all the hard times we experienced in St. Louis. And we ended up moving to Dallas just for a new start, a new beginning. Uh, my mother always was there for us. She never abandoned us, no matter when it was tough or good. She was always there. And I thank God for her.
And although we moved over 20 times in our life, we always had shelter. Majority of the time, we always had shelter. And you can't buy that. You can't buy that.
And a strong woman to deal with the problems that we had to deal with, but we got through it. And I thank God. I thank God. He's the only one who could have gotten us through the hard time.
My dad signed over his parental rights when I was younger, and I never developed that relationship with him. And January 2015, my dad actually passed away in a car accident, and we never got to fix that relationship, and that affected me emotionally. I mean, I didn't go to the funeral. My dad lives in St. Louis. I live in Houston. I didn't get to go to the funeral, but I prayed. I just am truly grateful for the people that I had in my life. I try not to focus on who I didn't have and focus on who I had. But the meat of my testimony of how I became an ordained minister at 19 years old, which is something I didn't see happening, is in 2011 I ended up getting accepted into the University of Houston. I came to college with the mindset of
uh, I'm gonna do my work, but I'm gonna have fun, and I want to get the most girls. I want to have all the girls, have sex with the most girls, and that's something that I struggle with. Friends, that's what we were doing. That's what we were about, and I'm having fun. And at the end of my freshman year,
so I remember I'll never forget this. 2 weeks before it was time to come home after the my second semester, me and my friend Pierre
ended up going to the financial aid office, and they told me that I owed $4,000 and that I wasn't gonna be able to come back to school. And unfortunately, I ended up not being able to come back to school for 3 whole semesters.
When it hit me was in August 2012, where I didn't come back to school, and I ended up going into a deep depression. I couldn't find a job. The jobs that I did find, I was getting fired from.
For going to sleep on my first day. Got quit another job. I passed out at another job. Ended up having to quit.
No community college, couldn't transfer schools. It just was hard.
I ended up logging on to Instagram and Twitter and seeing my friends, some of my friends complain about school, and some of my associates complain about school. And I was hurt because I'm not even there,
I just felt like I was a nobody because I was back home. I wasn't working. I wasn't in school. It's a stereotype that if you are in our age group, which is between 18 and I guess 25, that if you're not working or in school, you're nothing. And I felt like I was nothing.
We sometimes lose the sight of what really matters and why we are where we at. And I didn't know why I was where I was at until I developed a relationship with Christ. Yeah, I was at home. I was depressed. I saw my mom cry. I saw my mom almost emotionally break down because of the struggles, but um, God got us through all of it, and Christ is more than enough. It's more than enough.
I remember my mother told me, she said, Trey, she said, you need to start working on your first sermon. And I didn't think nothing of it. And that same Sunday, my pastor called me up after church and he said, Trey, I want to teach you the gospel. He said, I want to teach you how to teach the gospel. And he said, all you have to do is sit in the pulpit while I preach and just learn. And I didn't think nothing of it. I didn't think nothing of it at the time. So that was January 2013. March 2013, I had my first sermon. And from then on, I was living for God instead of living for the world. And I ended up coming back to school in January 2014. And I didn't come back to school until I saw God doing this for me, until I acted on faith, took a leap on faith, and said, I'm going back to school. Even though I didn't see it happening, I knew.
January 2014, we actually started, I actually started a Bible study class, Soldiers for Christ Bible Study at the University of Houston. I started off teaching one person. And I taught one person for 3 weeks in a row. My friend Darius came the first 2 weeks, and my friend Laude came the third week. And but I was getting frustrated because people wasn't showing up. You know, I spent all week studying, putting in work, doing my work, working, and no one was showing up.
And I was finna quit because I was getting frustrated that college students wasn't coming to Bible study. And I told my mother, I said, Mom, I'm going to stop teaching Bible study. But she said, no, Trey. She said, you're doing something for God. You're doing something for Jesus. You a vessel. She told me to keep going. And one of my mentors in the church, Harold Pierce, I never forget him. He told me, he said, Trey, the Bible says, do not despise small beginnings. And just because I started with one person,
just because of my faith, you go look throughout the whole Bible, whenever Jesus healed people, he always said, because of your faith, it's just a blessing, you know. I just want to personally say I love my mother, Regina Frank, for all of the things that you brought us through. And I want to thank God for picking you to be my mother.
I never saw me becoming a minister at 19 years old. I never saw that. My freshman year here, I was here to have fun. Yeah, I still have fun. I'm still a normal 21-year-old, but I do it within the boundaries now. And yes, I have fun, but my whole mindset is living for Jesus. My whole life is living for him.
Times to me that he's more than enough. No matter what your problem is, no matter what my problem is, he's more than enough. I'm back at school. I'm pursuing a degree. I wouldn't change my life for the world. I wouldn't change my problems for the world. I thank God for the problems that I do have. My problems could always be worse. And I just appreciate the people that God has placed in my life. And I appreciate him placing me where I am. You know, I'm a 21-year-old ordained minister. Started teaching Bible study at the University of Houston. It's just a blessing to see many college students want to come and learn about Jesus. My name is Trey Powell, and I am second.